Negative emotions attract negative experiences. Of course, we've all had moments of having negative emotions like jealousy, anger, regret. And of course, that's the normal part, but it's not about avoiding them. It's about catching them and being able to reframe them. Because when you're able to reframe that emotion, you're able to shift that energy and create a better reality. So let's talk about some of the common negative emotions that we all have and how we can reframe them into something that works for us instead of against us. So, one of the most common ones is jealousy and envy. Jealousy and envy show up when we compare ourselves to others and fall into a lack mindset. And so, instead of saying, why do they have this and I don't, tell yourself, God is showing me what's possible for me too. And if it exists in my reality, it means that it's available for me. And showing gratitude for someone else's blessing will actually speed up yours too. The next one is anger and hatred. Anger shows up as rage, resentment, or just irritation. And hatred is even deeper. It shows up as bitterness, hostility, or revenge. And so the next time you feel this emotion, stop and ask yourself, is this even worth my energy? Most of the times when you ask yourself, it's really not. The energy can actually be alchemized into passion, creativity, or even problem solving. And hatred actually usually mirrors something that you dislike in yourself. So instead of feeding it, use it as a signal for where you need healing. Next is guilt, shame, and regret. So these emotions will just have you replaying the past and blaming yourself or making you feel unworthy because of those things that you did in your past. So to reframe this, I would say to just show compassion to yourself because you only knew what you knew at that time. And every choice was either a lesson or a blessing. So why dwell on it? And remember, shame isn't even yours. It's actually an emotion that society puts on us, and so the moment that you decide to not even be humiliated by things that you did in your past, shame completely loses its power. Next is self doubt. Doubt usually creeps in when you don't trust yourself or your abilities. And so to reframe self doubt, for every limiting belief that you have or that you think about, create a counter belief. So, for example, if you think to yourself at a moment, I'm not good enough, that now becomes I'm more than capable and I learn quickly. And as you practice reframing those, even to yourself or in your journal or during meditation, which meditation is a great way to start working on healing self doubt, because I think a lot of people think about meditation as quieting your mind or silencing your mind. But really, meditation is about being more aware of your thoughts. So I always kind of imagine myself sitting by a river and my thoughts are the river and I'm just watching my thoughts go by and I'm not stopping and grabbing them and putting it in my head and making it a belief forever. I'm just letting it go by, just being aware of it. And so doing the same thing with your limiting beliefs. And as you practice, it becomes easier to do it. The next one is worrying. So, worrying is basically just living in the future and anticipating that the worst is going to happen. It's also a pointless emotion because we're living in the now, we're in the present. So, why are we worrying about something we don't even know how it's going to play out in the end? And so, just start changing it in that moment to worrying does nothing. What's the point of this emotion that I'm feeling right now? It's just causing me anxiety. Instead, just tell yourself, this is going to work out exactly how it's supposed to work out, and it's going to work out in my highest benefit. That's it. It's so simple. The next one is frustration and impatience. Frustration shows up as feeling stuck or just wanting to rush every single process. So, reframe this by using it as a reminder to slow down. Every time you feel frustrated or impatient, use that as a moment to slow down and show gratitude for the moment that we're in right now. Be thankful for it. And remember that growth happens in divine timing. So there's no point of trying to rush your timeline or your current where you're at. The next one is judgment and criticism. This shows up as just being overly harsh with yourself or with others. And so replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of why are they like that, shift to I wonder what they've been through that made them this way, and extend that same compassion to yourself. A good example that I like is when you're driving on the road and someone cuts you off, instead of being like, did this person do this? Is wrong with them? just be like, oh, I wonder why they're rushing. They must have someone in the hospital. They must be late to go pick up their children, and they must have been working all day and now they're rushing to go pick their kids up. I'm curious and I make up these stories in my head for why someone is doing something. I never assume it's for the worst reason. I never, oh, this person just cut me off because they are trying to get over on me. This person's a terrible person and they saw me in my car and think that I'm sweet and so they cut me off. No, just assume something else. Change the story. Assume that this person just has something that they have to get to. And so showing that compassion to other people, but also showing that compassion to yourself helps a lot with judging people. And so negative emotions are not the enemy. They're really signals for us. And what matters when you feel those emotions is how you respond to them. So the more that you practice reframing, the easier it's going to get to just choose the actual emotion that you want to live in. And when you choose the higher emotion or the higher vibrations, like gratitude and compassion and trust, life has no choice but to reflect that back to you and attract more of that into your life. So the next time that you're feeling jealous or angry or worry or any of those, just pause, reframe, and choose the higher perspective, and your reality will shift because you shifted.